Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum because the market has entered that support area that I mentioned last week. So I'll show you exactly what the market has to do to find follow through with today's breakout and what could trigger a move up toward $3,600. Now, before we get started, if you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also click that bell icon to get notified every time I post these videos. Okay, so looking at the daily chart for Ethereum, this is the area down here around $2,800 to $2,900 that we talked about last week. So you can see where it was resistance here in May, flipped to support in late September, and the market just barely came in to the top portion of that area yesterday. Now, what's interesting about this $2,800 to $2,900 area is that it's also the 50% of this range between $1,700 and the all-time high. All right, so you can see where the 50% right here also lines up with this area. Now, furthermore, what's interesting about this is notice where the 382 is right here, and you can notice that today's high is touching right off of that level. So clearly it's also finding a little bit of resistance up there right around 3260. Now, in order to confirm today's breakout that we're seeing, this intraday breakout, I would like to see the market get above 3170. So you can see where this area back here was support, resistance after that, and notice what's happened here over the past few days. So we saw Ethereum find support right here at 3170. It closed below it, and then this area became resistance. So we need to see a daily close above this area to confirm the breakout, flip this back to support, and then trigger that move higher, potentially up here toward 3600. All right, so that's going to be the area to watch if we do get that move higher from Ethereum. Now, one other thing to watch here is going to be a channel on the daily time frame. So you can see where the market recently came in to support based on these highs up here and then also several lows. So you can see where we have this descending channel that's formed off of these highs and several lows ever since November. So we have these two highs up here. We have this low and also the December 4th low, and also yesterday's low that found support right at channel support. So if we were to see a close above 3170 today, flip this area back to support, there's a good chance we see a move up here toward 3600, which is a confluence of support. Now, alternatively, if Ethereum fails to close above this area today, it remains intact as resistance, we could see that push down here toward $2,800 to $2,900. So keep that in mind. This doesn't mean that Ethereum is going to move higher now. It could still very well test that $2,800 to $2,900 area. And one critical factor over the next 24 hours is that we do have a CPI reading here in the US at 8:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So that is going to matter for markets, not the inflation itself, but how central banks are going to interpret that data moving forward, because higher inflation is not going to be great for the crypto market because it is going to cause central banks to tighten that monetary policy that has been so accommodative throughout 2021. So I'll get into more details in a later video, but just know that we want to see inflation start to tick lower later this year in order for the crypto markets to start strengthening again. So keep that in mind, because over the next 24 hours with that CPI reading, I do think we could see some volatility here from Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of the crypto market. Now, one last thing I want to talk about here, and I've mentioned this before, but I think it's important to just understand the environment that we're in right now. Okay, so 2021 was obviously a period, especially for Ethereum, where you could pretty much buy anywhere, and as long as you held on to it for a few weeks, you were going to make money. And especially if you held on to it for a few months, you were guaranteed to make money. And we're in a different environment now. Okay, we're no longer in that environment. We're in a very ranging market, and I think you have to be aware of that when you approach any kind of buy or even sell, just because you have to take what the market gives you and really just play the range here until we get some type of confirmation that we are going to start trending again like we did in 2021. So what I mean by that is, instead of looking for a buy from support and then for that to just go parabolic again like it did in 2021, I think it's important to play the range here where, if you're going to dollar cost average, you can do so down here. I had a few bids that were hit yesterday, not all of them because a lot of my entries were down in this area. However, you have to play the range, and what I'm doing is looking for buys down in this area, and then I'll start to sell up here at $3,600 because I am just playing that range, knowing that we have a very sideways market. We don't really have much momentum, especially not like 2021. So I'm going to keep that in mind and just play the range and take what the market gives me. And I know for a lot of people, it may not be all that appealing to look to buy Ethereum down here around $3,000 and sell at $3,600. However, you have to keep in mind that, even down here from these lows up toward $3,600, it's still a 20% move. And if we get moves like we've seen in the past, that could very well play out within a week or two. So if you can make 20% within a couple of weeks, to me, I'm going to take that every single time. But I know that a lot of people, especially coming off of 2021, everybody, comes off of making 1,000% or, 5,000% gains. And to make a 20% gain in a couple weeks doesn't sound all that attractive. But again, that's a lot of money. 20% in 2 weeks is a lot of money. So that's what I'm looking at here. Once the market gets up toward 3,600, because I do think we are going to get a test up here, whether it comes this week or next week. I do think Ethereum is going to test 3,600. Once we get up there, the key is going to be $4,000 because on the weekly time frame, this is going to be the critical area for Ethereum. 3,600 is also critical, but 4,000 is the level to break. So you can see back here it was resistance here. The market broke above it, found support here at $4,000 for several weeks. Then it closed a week and month back below that level. So that means that this area is now going to be resistance. It also means that all of this up here, all of this price action was a false break. And a lot of times a false break to one side of a level like this can trigger an extended move in the opposite direction. So that could very well mean a move lower for Ethereum here over the next few weeks and months. So just keep that in mind. As long as the market is below $4,000, you have to be careful getting too bullish here. And as I said, just play the range that we're in right now, everywhere from $4,000 down here toward $3,000, and potentially even down here towards some of these lows around $2,000 later this year, if we do get those kind of prices. But really, ever since the start of 2021, we've seen a very range-bound market. So just be sure to keep that in the back of your mind. All right, guys, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. Also, smash that like button and leave your comment below. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.